Hey everyone. So I realized I didn't include the poem or um, the pictures in my About Me. So I want to include that. Um, and I'll keep the video private just for my students until the poem actually gets published because they get first publishing rights. It's going to be published in Janus Unbound. So thank you to them for publishing it. And I got paid to do it. I didn't write it for them, but they wanted to take it. So I let them. And I'm very happy that it's out in the world now and can be read. Um, it's dedicated to my ex-partner who, so the mistake I made in the last video was not screen sharing, so let's fix that this time. Yeah. Okay, this was the Guggenheim. It's a really cool like rotundra museum in New York. It like you walk on a slow ramp. So seriously, spiraling around an open center area, and then there are these like alcoves all along the ramp where you go in and look at different exhibits. But there's just like a linear circling spiraling path and then you go back down to get out. Um, or you can take an elevator. But like, is there any other museum in the world that is like that? And if they were, it's just really innovative and cool. My friend Daniel, and he took this photo. He's in Germany now. He helped me move a few times. Good friend. This is Kandinsky. So I liked um like this one in right here. It just looks a lot like some of the art that I make. So I like ink more than paint because paint is really thick, but ink um is vibrant but thin. And so you can get lots of saturation and color and move it around. It doesn't clog, it doesn't turn all into brown. I guess I always just use too much paint. But ink is just so lovely. Okay. That's Sophia. Um, I rescued her. Like I said before, off the streets of Brooklyn, but that was in Brooklyn before I rescued her. And then when I left, I made sure to take her with me. You see my beard. That's my mom. I think I was 20. This was the same. This was before I got Winchester. This would have been 2016-ish, 2015, 2016-ish. So in the middle of my theater year. This is a museum in Peru. Um, it's like the National Museum, like the main museum of history and art and archaeology. Um, like I was only in Lima for half a day and I went and saw this and it was the best way to spend that time. Uh, I got in at midnight, got into a hotel, left the hotel, and went to this. I like 9 or 10. Went to this, and and then later that day, I got on the bus. I took an Uber to get to the bus station, and then I took the bus for 22 hours to Cusco through the mountains, and it made multiple stops. And it was, I had to pay attention, and I was really interested in seeing everything. The mountains were gorgeous. Everything was interesting. I was watching my like food and energy levels too, just trying to make sure I had enough resources. It was really different. It was strange. It was cool because it was like but I had to think about like did I have enough food? Did I have enough caffeine? Enough energy to get to where I was going, keep all my belongings safe, and get home safe. And it's kind of how I lived for many years. Anyway, um, I didn't know that Peru was one of the six cradles of civilization. I learned it a little bit before. I picked Machu Picchu because I wanted to, it seemed like an affordable way to see the Andes. So I actually really went to Peru just to see the mountains. Um, and I learned a lot about the culture, and I really love the culture. Uh, Not this. This is from my friend. But this. It's called an Incan cross. Um, and it's got a sun and a moon on it, but these three steps in each direction. So this is like this is the dead. This is the realm of the this is the middle step, so it's the mundane or the reality. And this is the ceiling, cielo, the sky, the heaven, the purity, creation. This is like destruction down here. But then any direction, it's the same. That's why it's an Incan cross. It's a cross in all directions of three dimensions. And I didn't know the symbolism of it when I got it, but I had a friend, a teacher friend in the middle school who was from Miami and was Hispanic and spoke much more Spanish than me and knew much more about the culture than me, I guess, also as a musician. Um, Izzo, called him Izzo. He played saxophone for my birthday. Really, definitely one of the sweetest people I've met. Um, Truly an inspiration, an inspiring human being. So he taught me cool stuff, taught me stuff about teaching because he was a certified teacher in Florida before he came to the charter school. So he knew a lot. Cool dude. Winchester, when I first got him, I still got that bookshelf. It's right there. 10 years later, still got the dog too. He's right there. Um, he's on the bed. So, and Sophia's under the desk. Um, this was Peru as well. This was also the museum. The one, so Lima's like more north and then Cusco's more in the mountains. It's also like Lima's on the coast and at sea level. Peru is one of the most fertile coasts. Um, Also Winchester, also much younger, 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Uh, this is like, these are all jars from different pre-Incan cultures. You can kind of see some of the different handles they have here. Stirrup handles versus some of them had two holes, some of them had one hole. It was very often that they had like that the spout was made as part of the handle. So the where the water would go in and come out was part of where they held it, and they fired it this way. They, so this was a platform area around the museum, but connecting the restaurant to the museum itself. I had a smoked trout salad. It was really good with artichoke hearts, or no, artichokes and heart of palm. I'd never had heart of palm before, and it was weird, but it's cool. Um, it's like the inside of a tree of a palm tree. And you can like just cut the palm tree and then it'll grow back up and you can take the inside of it and eat it. It has nutritional value. Um, and at Machu Picchu, there were places where I could see they were cutting palms. Not Machu Picchu, at Aguas Calientes, which is the uh, village. It's sometimes called Machu Picchu Pueblo, but it's the village at the base, and then Machu Picchu's way up there. Um, it's really just like a low key. I mean, people that go to Machu Picchu are super low key. So like the environment itself is super low key, and everybody was sweet and friendly. You don't spend money on that kind of thing unless you're a kind of person, and it just really had a nice self-selecting crowd to it. What somebody told me was that Peruvians are really affectionate and really hardworking and honest people, and their government is very corrupt. So let's publish that. We're going to broadcast that in this video. Um, there's the aforementioned smoked trout salad with hard palm. There's the palms, the yellow whitey bits. I had it with just Tanqueray neat. Uh, I do I drink more than I should because nobody should drink anything because apparently every bit of alcohol shortens your lifespan. But I like gin. I quit cigarettes. I quit nicotine. Um, it's been almost 34 months now, I guess, 33. January 1st, 2023. I had my last cigarette that morning. It wasn't the first day I didn't have a cigarette was January 2nd. And I had like a half of a cigarette. I remember it. I used to take all I kept every bit of tobacco that I didn't smoke. So I'd pinch off the end after I smoked American Spirits and I'd smoke like a third or a half of one and pinch off the part that was like, or I'd put it out and then I'd pinch off the burnt end and I'd put the rest of the good cigarette back in the box. Done with all that. Oh, and there was a coffee involved too, apparently. An espresso and a gin. Yeah, so like like the coast was just literally dirt and sand. Um, no, stop. They have both Winchester and Sophia have territory wars for the spot under my desk. They both like to sleep under my desk. And this butthead just lays on top of her and hurts her. And so I can't let him come over here. Okay, guys. Yeah, it was really barren. It was really like they had cut down all the trees possible, everything. But I don't know if there ever was. We were driving through, um, if it all used to be forested or not, but driving through the mountains, like we were above the fog line, above the cloud line in like these like there should be more pictures of it later, but you'll see. You can just see all these. Some of it's green, but a lot of it's really more barren than you expect. Oh, this person did not pose for me. I thought it was really, really cool that I got this picture like this because I was moving when I took this. I was in a bus and this is just a sick photo. Like it looks like it was planned. You can see the bus fog due right there. Tires out there making a fence line. They're kind of scrappy. I saw lots of resources just left, like held on to and made use of later. So yeah, I could say a lot about all these photos. It's clear that when I start talking, I have plenty to say. So I'm just gonna work my way through them and try to keep this short. When I do read the poem, I don't know if I've given Thank You to Janice Unbound yet, but they do have first publishing rights. So yeah, it'll be private until it shows up for them specifically. I've seen flowers. I want to say this. I've seen flowers just like this, even you know, even close by at home. Like not these were so I took this photo in on the bus again in Peru, northern South America. And we have these in Texas. I mean, Texas is only like 2,000 miles from Peru, just as far as it is from New York. But uh, I guess that's an interesting way to think about that. Peru is as far from Texas as Texas is from New York. So when I went to New York to study graduate school, I was as far away as I would have been living in Peru or when I was in Peru. So from my family, from my safety net, from um, all of that. Oh, okay. This is at my dad's house. We built a porch. Really wonderful views driving through the mountains. You could fly from Lima to Cusco, but this was great. Um, the porch we built, I stained it too. They told me it needs a new coat of stain. They've got like there's railings around it. There's a ramp. Um, there's like steps coming down. There's a lot more done to it. But we did it from scratch, so I might um my family has some land, so I might build like my own house. I don't know how to do the plumbing yet, but cement some beams down and do pier and beam instead of a foundation or instead of a slab. Um, Whatever works, if I'm lucky enough to afford it. Uh, I think that was also Peru, but it looks so much like Big Bend. I went to Big Bend this year and it was wonderful. Some really great photos from Big Bend too. I love the earth. All the mountains look the same. All the forests look the same. It's just beautiful. Everywhere it's beautiful. Golden hour photos. Okay, this was actually at the like Machu Picchu place. Um at Aguas Calientes. So yeah, this was a panoramic photo, but they had lots of little like alleyways. It was kind of cool to try to find all the different places in town. I stayed there for 4 or 5 days, like a week, and it was only $80 at the hotel for all 4 days. Um, these rocks are huge. Like that's a house over there, and the rocks are as big as they have to be this big. Um, like a person would just stand barely onto them. Oh, pup cup. So I think these were. Um, these were at a restaurant, but like the pattern is the exact same as the ones I have in my kitchen on my table. I forget that they're authentically like local. I think it was her mother or her grandmother. I asked who made them when I bought them. They were a little expensive, but they were really worth it. Um, the only placemats I use. They're beautiful. I have different colors, four different colors. Purple, blue. Here, let me go get them. Yeah, I have excuse me. I have like a tan one, blue and brown one, kind of dirty. And when I machine washed them, they shrunk a little bit. Um, so like this blue one hasn't been machine washed before, but this other one has, and so it's smaller. Um, so I don't know how I'm gonna clean them, but I love them. Absolutely love them. And that was at a restaurant. Um, I got I actually bought a recipe book too. I think it's ajo de gallina. It meant like uh the hen, just chicken and rice basically. Some vegetables. I wasn't big on bones and they also had like alpaca and some other red meats that we don't eat in America or that I haven't tried before. And I didn't try them. I'm not really big on red meat in general. I feel weird about it, but I might feel weird because I don't get enough red meat. Um, but it makes me uncomfortable eating it. This was also, this is very jungly. I was struck by how jungly some of the parts of Big Bend were, but I wouldn't have known that they were jungly if I hadn't been to Peru and been in the actual jungle. So more at the equator. Well, I wonder if Peru is as south of the equator as Texas is north. The temperature was colder because we were further up north. It's between 40, mid 40s and 70s on a daily basis. Um, more big rocks at the bottom of the. You can see some of the steps out there though, right there where the mouse is. Those are terrace farming. During the walk, I was 27. So, and I got a guide up there at the top. This is the only luggage I took with me is this backpack. Throughout the whole trip, had just a couple of pairs of shirts and pants rolled up in there. If you roll them up, you can stuff them. A couple pairs of underwear and pairs of socks. I wore those shoes out completely. They're brand new. They're like hiking boots kind of, and I used the heck out of them. The sole is broken off of one of them. They're ripped. The leather's coming apart. Maybe they just weren't made that well because they didn't last more than a month. But I really put them through it, I guess. So, uh, yeah, more pictures at Machu Picchu. There was no railing and the steps were kind of steep, and I was like hot and sweaty and exhausted and kind of stumbly. And so I really had to be careful. So there are three different there are multiple tracks you can go to in Machu Picchu, different passes you can get to go on different routes. And um There are also different mountains you can climb at the end of those routes and like look back down on things. That was me in high school. I was like 26, Peru. Oh, this is a picture with Zach Bryan, just proof that I knew him. I think Zach is right here in gray right here. And I know everybody else in this picture too, but this was a mission trip we did to Chicago. Went to the Navy Pier, I guess. Um, I was 17 or 18, high school. Uh, but yeah, that's me. Peru again. This is what I was saying about like the mountains are just all dirt. Did an art exhibition in middle school made out of cardboard. Some really cool ones like a TV, um, animals, all sorts of stuff. Somebody else took this photo of me. I didn't ask them to. They just took it and then they're like, "This is a really cool photo of you. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah." Tires. I never noticed the tires down there. This is where I got on the train every morning in Brooklyn. When I was teaching fourth and sixth grade, this is where I got an apartment where I found Sophia. This is Canarsie. So there was the end of the L line. And I took this photo because the L line was not running, which is trains in New York are, and the L in particular is every 5 to 6 minutes, every 4 to 6 minutes. It is clockwork. It's the I love the L and I love Canarsie. Like I really do. Um, Good people working hard. Um, it's my home. I don't know. Kind of miss it. But I didn't like working. I had to commute like 2 hours a day. I lived like 50 minutes from the middle school. And I didn't like working like 40, 50 hours a week in the middle school. I mean, I liked the kids, but just I really prefer to be doing philosophy and I feel unfinished and unresolved when I'm not doing it. There's a rainbow in this photo right here. So it's not because I didn't think that teaching kids was worth it. It's just that I need to be doing philosophy for some reason. There's the rainbow. There's Winchester again. More rainbows. Uh, I can't. This was after Peru. You can see the Peru boots. And I was kind of just like, I don't know. There's a lot of new things happening to me that made me very intense. Kay going missing, uh, teaching for the first time, being on my own, figuring everything out. Um, so, and there's Kay. So she's part of this, of course. He was getting sick and I was trying to get him to eat. This was in Brooklyn, but he's okay. He's still here. I worry about him all the time, guys. I worry about all of y'all all the time. I worry about everything all the time. It's my mom's house. I was working with the horses for the beginning of last year. My grandparents' house for Thanksgiving when I brought stuff down to Kay's parents that was in storage from our apartment in Brooklyn together. The way back from Thanksgiving. Sophia stayed up there, I guess, right? Because she was just on the street, and Winchester came with me because he has to. He has to go everywhere with me. And they both have to go everywhere with me now. I don't know if she'd be okay on her own. Um, so this is Massaman curry. I might have mentioned that I like to cook chicken curries because they stretch really well and they're affordable and they taste good. They've got lots of good seasonings. I learned how to do this when Kay and I were together in New York, just because I couldn't afford to go out all the time. Um, and yeah, it's potatoes, carrots, chicken, peanuts, cilantro, onions, lots of seasoning, maple syrup, coconut aminos, coconut milk. I might have forgot something, but it has to simmer for a while. That was my apartment in Brooklyn. Um, that was Banff in Canada. A different kind of, it's got more trees and wilderness than like Big Bend or Peru had. There's just less ravaging. My mom again. I had the opportunity to go because she went for work and she was able to get me a plane ticket and um there was an extra bed in the room, so it was affordable. There's Winchester again. My niece, a friend from the writing center at UHD. Um, that's the old neighborhood in Canarsie, Brooklyn. It didn't snow all the time, it snowed some. That's Kay. We went to Galveston Beach for the 4th of July one year, 2019, I think, before we left for New York. It was after we broke in 2022 at Fashion Week. It was like a 10th story um, nightclub thing. And we had a table and they gave us free drinks. It was really cool. But I liked my outfit a lot. So it was like there was a balcony area outside. Everybody was dancing inside. It was dark and low lit. And there were different tables with table service for drinks. And then there was the outside ring of like futons and seats and like weatherproofed, cushiony outdoor furniture that you could sit on and tables. And it was all like 10th floor Midtown New York. It was one of the coolest events I've ever been to. I think it's the only thing like it that I've ever been to. It was amazing. Um, so I have this long purple coat. I love this long purple coat. I got it on sale. My mom bought it for me on sale. I was gonna pay her back, and then she gives me for Christmas. But it was on flash sales. Remember, like $500. It was like 160, 130, and it kept me warm. I wore that thing from December through May. I took other things off before I took the coat off just because like I don't know, it became a sort of um do I have autism kind of thing. Like I just loved it. And I felt really uncomfortable at work and it made me feel safe and like protected. Um I didn't feel safe at work. So um you're really hurting about Kay. The hair was up like that because I met a friend who um said that when I do my hair like low pony, it looks like a founding father. And so when I started teaching philosophy, I went back to that. And now I am keeping it down with some kind of like bow or something. I don't know. Sophia, again, this is just my porch area. I was on a ground floor, like entry front door apartment. I was the first floor. It was a shotgun apartment, a front and a back, and my landlord had put a wall up in the middle, made an extra bathroom, and made a back entrance and a front entrance. And I got the front entrance. So, but the back entrance had places for cars and like a patio and stuff. It was cool. I didn't go back there. I didn't know them at all. And I guess there was a basement too, but I didn't know about it. There was no front entrance to the basement. So I loved this coat, but I did not buy it. This thing was $400. I don't know if I'll ever get to a place again where I feel comfortable spending that kind of money on this, but that's a vibe. Um, like it looks good on me. It looks better than that purple one did. I think I have the hat, but it's kind of small, so I never wear it. Sophia again. That was my old place. High school graduation at Huckabee. Field day teaching fourth grade elementary school. The fires in Canada that the wildfires in Canada that created like insanely unsafe breathing conditions in the Northeast. Yeah, we like that was this is what the sky looked like. It was all orange. It was terrifying. We closed the windows. It was hot. We couldn't let the kids go to recess. We thought about canceling all sorts of disasters. This is the view the morning I flew to Peru. So the last day of school for fourth grade, we packed all the things up. And we went to graduation, and I gave my graduation speech that I read to my students. And and then I went home and I did the dishes, and then I went to the airport. And I flew to Panama, made sure I had everything, flew to Panama, and then I flew to Peru. And then when I flew back, there was a major layover in Fort Lauderdale for like half a day where I was just in the airport doing nothing. And then there was and then I got to the wrong airport in Texas. They couldn't like fix my transfers. They had a delay on the first one, and because it was a separate airline, I had no um I lost that jacket. I really liked it. I lost it. I've lost a lot of things, guys. And that's the last picture. That's at the hotel the morning I got into Peru. Um, but I have also gained a lot of things. I've had wonderful experiences. I've met really interesting people, kind people, good people, less than kind people, not so good people, mostly good. And with that, I just want to read the poem. So, called Eschatology. And again, thank you to Janice Unbound for publishing this. I've read it to all my other classes, and yeah, white flag on the side of a widow's funeral pyre. Coastal winds sweeping in the same direction. Baptized palms cupping a newborn sparrow. River hymns caressing her winter endeavor. Father cooking breakfast before you wake up. Mother's reservations at all hotels along the way. Semi-annual appointments with the pediatrician. Emergency room visit when he broke his wrist. A road map drawn out in the passenger seat. Lamppost pulsing as Ken drive through the night. Plastic lids for soda cans to keep the bees out. Timing your parachute after an act of devotion. Riding a long-distance bus or railroad home. The season's first litter of field hand puppies. Sunflowers turning underneath the midday blaze. Vines praying to their gods by the brick siding. A steadfast plate of fresh supper every night. Napping under magnolia blossoms in the spring. How an older sibling wants to protect everyone. The sudden and mysterious return of a lost sock. An empty boat washed ashore with burn marks. Vacant place settings at a long oak dinner table. Arrows pointing the way to your aunt's house. 3 nights under the star-struck desert sky. How soup and wine always improve with age. Most rituals, such as love, can be replicated. So, welcome to class, guys. Um, I hope you have a good life. I hope you learn. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourself and stay safe. Bye.